everyone, this is me, Melissa, and we're in the Ranting shop to do Ready to Love Season 9 Reunion Part 1. And overall, I agree with some people that are saying that the previews were making us feel like this reunion would have been more hyped than it actually was. To be honest, I don't think it was that eventful, but it was definitely shocking, and also it justified a lot of my suspicions. So first, let's get into Patrice and Alonso. Now, prior to the reunion airing, Patrice took to her social media and basically she was alluding to the fact that she chose a cheating man because she was basically singing a song that had to do with wanting her own man and not other people's men. So just based on that, I already felt as if in that clip we saw, she was indeed speaking about Alonso, right? Now, Alonso took to Facebook in the group chat and he was essentially asking a question like, can you love somebody and still cheat? Now, these two very different things from these two people who were supposedly supposed to have chosen each other and supposed to be really good, it spoke volumes. And from that moment, I already knew that she was indeed speaking about Alonso and that Alonso did in fact cheat, right? Now, Alonso was trying to basically throw people off by, being kind of conspicuous, like, oh, you have to watch the reunion, it's going down, it's gonna be crazy. I love the edits on Kojo's page. I love the edits. He kept mentioning the edits, but then also talking about how he had issues with it while still saying he didn't have issues with it. And I think Kojo's interview spoke a lot, explained a lot about what I saw during this reunion, because Kojo was trying to tell Alonso, when you test people, it is not something done out of love. You are literally putting people in a spot where they may react negatively. And his thing was, oh, I'm only doing that because I want to nurture that. I want to love that. But he refused to hear things from Kojo's perspective. If we go back to the choked and spanked argument, the whole thing of just choosing to ignore truths and believe in his own weird alternate universe is a theme with Alonso. Even with the example he gave to Tommy. But we're gonna go to that later. Let's go in order of things this time around. So we did start off with Patrice and Alonso, right? Patrice said they kind of hit a rough patch. Not a rough patch, but a really crucial point in the relationship because he decided to be untruthful and possibly reckless sexually with other people. So he's giving this story about, that's his home girl, and his home girl he asked his home girl to bring him groceries because his car is messed up, and basically that's what he was saying. On Kojo's channel, he mentioned giving Patrice a key because he lived closer to the city. And I suppose it was easier for her to do her job being closer to the city. So he gave her a key. What is really shocking to me is, why would you give her a key if you know that you're not fully ready for commitment? And he's trying to paint the picture that he is ready for commitment and he doesn't play with people like that. But then you're allowing your home girl to come to your house to allegedly bring groceries that you had a previous sexual relationship with, but then you're lying to Tommy and saying that you guys had nothing. A previous sexual past is not nothing, and it is a very important thing to inform your current partner about, the one that you claim to love, the one that you claim to not play with. I thought that was the quickest contradictory statements I've ever seen in my life. So I came to the conclusion that, you know what, he's just as stubborn and unwilling to understand general perspectives, just like in Kojo's interview. Why would you give her a key and have your sex buddy coming to the house? It's like he knows it's wrong, but still wants to argue about it, and still wants to live in his world of naivety. He still wants to live in a world where whatever Alonzo says is true, and whatever other people say is true is not his reality. But really, it makes him look like he's delusional and he has mental health issues, right? And Patrice decided, okay, let me explain. I spoke to the lady. She made it clear that they did have a sexual past, which he lied about to Tommy. Furthermore, there were 2 more women who came out of the woodworks, right? So she's not just based in her decision to, I guess, end this relationship based on one incident. She did her research and she realized, no, he's playing me, right? And so he really didn't have anything to say other than, because when everybody is explaining, this sounds crazy, it's like, I understand, because there's no way you can get people to take up or understand you in that moment. You were wrong. Just admit you are wrong and stop trying to create alternate facts and alternate situations and alternate realities. The point of the matter is, you were wrong. I'm not understanding Alonzo and creating these fake realities, you know? And so they did apparently there's a confessional booth now. So Patrice is like, I'm not gonna continue to be a part of this mess. And Alonzo is basically still on his train of, oh, it wasn't that way, and nobody has time for this. And I think Patrice learned a valuable lesson here with Alonzo, because I think even during the process she had hesitations about him, and I feel like if you have any bit of hesitation about anyone, don't choose them, because you're gonna end up having cake thrown on your face looking stupid like Patrice did. Because I think everybody could and would maybe be able to predict this ending. You know, this man is unserious and he lies, and he tries to justify his lies by making it seem like that's what he thinks. So when it's a situation where it's people's opinions, it's almost like you can't argue people's opinions. But the point of the matter is, certain things are just facts. And she did not think that your alternate reality made sense to her. And that's the thing with Alonzo, like he ignores just general facts and general just black and white situations and tries to paint it pink and tries to paint it yellow, and it's like that doesn't even go there. Anyways, to say I'm disappointed in him is, I'm not even disappointed, it's just justification, because I knew he was lying. And I knew, because the moment he brought up on Kojo's channel the thing of, oh, he did the STD check because he wanted to be safe with everyone and everything, and he made it he put it on speaker so she would hear that he was clean. And any guy that has to do all of this is definitely still sleeping around with other people. Otherwise, you just do the test and give her the result and let that be that. But for you to do all those theatrical things, to me, you were hiding something. And he was still sleeping with other people, and that's so dangerous, because the way Patrice is making it seem, it's as if he constantly does these STD checks. The only reason why you have to constantly do STD checks is because you're not being faithful. It's because you're running these streets. You're being promiscuous. And I don't know any woman that would want to be in such a anxiety-filled type of relationship. And these guys, they come on Kojo's channel, they do these interviews to get ahead of the narrative, and all they're really doing is leaving bare bones for you to add context to after you see the show. Then you're like, oh, that makes sense. That's why he said this. Because they fluff it up and they make it seem like it's all good and great until you watch the show and you're like, yeah, that was a mess. But anyways, let's move on. Will explains living in a staged home, and he's talking about the lustful comments, the finances. It wasn't true. Will implies anyone with common sense would know that he was in a staged home because he does real estate and whatever the case may be. And Mika pipes up and she's like, we don't know you. We don't know what it is that you do. We don't know your financial status. So how do you expect us to just put things into perspective without having an inkling of who you are, which is a valid point. And then at some point, they go back and forth talking about her tubes being tied and her body being fake, and her saying he's poor and he's fake, chain is fake, and it was just very petty. Now, I do agree, to be honest, that both of them were at fault, because insult for insult, they're both wrong. And I think I saw Will apologize, and I wish Mika apologized as well. Now, the comment with the sleeping on the floor misunderstanding was very wrong of Patrice, because she made an assumption that wasn't true. And instead of her accepting that she was wrong and apologized to Will, she kind of doubled down and she was like, well, that's what I heard. Instead of saying, I interpreted it in a way that was wrong and I apologize. Because what she did was definitely alter the other women's perspective of him, which in my opinion was wrong of her to do. And I don't like the thing of, men shouldn't engage with women. If anybody is disrespecting you, you're going to want to defend yourself. I do personally see it as immature, because if you know that you are right in your mind and you think the other person is wrong, let them make themselves a fool all day. Nobody in this season wanted to be the bigger person. Everybody wanted to go down and dirty with the worst of them. And I think it spoke a lot about the fact that this group needs to grow up. They need to grow up and learn a thing or two about maturity and picking your battles. And because when you go down and dirty with an individual, you stoop to that level, and so other people will also see you just as bad as the other person. Being the bigger person means understanding that your image and your character is more important than this short-term satisfaction of getting back at somebody. Foresight is really important. So I do believe that Patrice should have definitely apologized, as well as Mika, and I'm disappointed that they were not told to apologize to Will as well. Now, Alexis mentions that she didn't mention Patrice's name when she spoke about that sleeping on the floor statement, which she did not. She did not mention Patrice's name. But my thing about it is, with Alexis, is you don't have to mention Patrice's name. he knows who he told that information to, and he know he told it to Patrice. So by you saying, oh, the women are saying you sleep on the floor, he knows exactly where it came from, you know. And I do understand Will's need to want to find out who said it and set the record straight. But I definitely feel like, and Married for 10 Years spoke about this, and I think she was right when she said Patrice doesn't like a guy like Will. Will is too arrogant, Will is too stubborn, Will is too strong-minded for Patrice. Patrice likes a guy she can mold and she can fix and she can lead, which is not Will. So I think that was another big thing or reason why she wasn't too interested with Will, but was more interested in Alonzo, because I feel like she had this impression that she could lead him and make him do what she wanted him to do, until she realized that he's a grown man and he's going to do what he wants. Right. So, Glenn. I really don't know why Glenn had a segment, but then Patricia, who was actually there for the experience and got sent home early, was not addressed. I'm not gonna speak too quickly. Hopefully, she's addressed and spoken about next, the part 2 session. And I think she will be. It would be quick, but I think they will address Patricia. So Glenn comes on. He basically said he doesn't regret not showing up. I feel like he has anxiety, and maybe he's just as introverted as Justin and just doesn't know how to move in a camera production type of situation. I think he's a private person, which is why I didn't think it made sense for Tommy to be like, okay, you get a chance to date the women now. I didn't think it made sense, because you're putting him in an even high pressured situation, having him find a connection in less than 2 hours or something with cameras in his face. That's exactly what Glenn did not want, and that's exactly what you're continuing to do. Like, I swear, Tommy does not take hints very well. Either Tommy or production does not take hints take hints very well. Because this guy is telling you what he doesn't want to do, and then you're still putting him in situations that forces him to do things in front of cameras, which was his issue in the first place. And then you're making it high pressured, because I'm pretty sure they're expecting him to have a connection at the end of this whole reunion thing, which I think is crazy and it's unfair. Now, Leilene. Oh, so when Glenn was talking to Alexis B at the backstage, I think he felt like this woman is drunk. It doesn't make sense to have conversation with a drunk person. So I think that's why he got up and moved on to somebody else. It just seemed like he was moving really quickly. I think he's probably a picky person as well. It's fine to be picky, but picky people are picky because they've been hurt before, and also they're being extra cautious. They have their guards up, and it takes a lot longer to, but try to peel people's layers back. It takes a lot more time, a lot more trust, a lot more a higher level of comfort to be able to do that. So I really don't know why they did this with Glenn. So Leilene, she was asked, if she could possibly find her connection in this set of men, and without saying no, she said no. I don't want any of these guys. And I think seeing how the guys were interacting with the women in this particular reunion episode, I would say the same thing as Leilene. Ain't no way I'm gonna be interested in any one of these guys. There's no way I'm picking a guy that argues with women to that extent. There's just no way. So she says she's waiting on love, but she doesn't want anybody on this cast. Leilene has a lot of sense, and Chaz was piping up about, I would definitely date her. I would definitely want to. And I think she is not into Chaz either. Like, she's like, yeah, okay. And when Patrice called Alonzo out about, oh yeah, Alonzo, you said that Leilene was your second connection. It's like, why would she do that? That was so strange. Like, mind your business, Patrice. And it definitely gave, I want another woman to suffer like I did, which is so weird. Like, if you know this guy is no good, why would you kind of encourage him to shoot his shot at another woman? That makes no sense to me. I don't know why she did that. I don't know if she felt like that would make him look bad or what, but it just seemed super weird. Like, why are you worried about Alonzo? Like, he did you dirty. Like, if anything, you'd be warning women against him. I'm so interested. Like, I'm so befuddled by that. So the choked or spanked comment comes into question, and it explains to me now why these guys kept coming on platforms trying to explain particular things, because they know what they said during the reunion and they know it's gonna come up later. So they're like, okay, let me address it now. And then they address it, and then when you watch the reunion and you remember their interview, it doesn't go in their favor, which is probably why they had to get ahead of the enemy in that way. So he's basically saying, because Tommy is also trying to understand, like, how is it not sexual? It's either sexual or it's domestic violence. It's one of the two. And he's saying some people kiss and choke each other. Kissing and choking each other implies something sexual is gonna precede that. So that also has a sexual connotation. That man is just too, I don't know, he's too crazy for me. It's giving delusional. Okay. And then basically Koshia was saying she has a right to decide who she wants to have sexual conversations with. She had sexual conversations with Chaz because she was interested in Chaz. She had sexual conversations with Laurent because she was interested in Laurent. She was not interested in Alonzo, so she did not want to go there with Alonzo. To me, that's common sense. And people are saying, oh, but she said this to Laurent, and oh, she said that too. So what? So what? She was comfortable speaking and going there with the guy she was interested in. What's wrong with that? It's similar to the sentiment where men would say, or women say, if they're not interested in a guy and a guy tries to talk to them, it's almost like giving rapey vibes. It's almost giving SA vibes, right? Because I'm not interested in you. But when she is interested in a guy, and when she does have possible romantic interest at that, then it's a welcome thing if the person says certain things. Because I am on that same wave with you. But if I'm not on that same wave with you, it can be taken completely differently. And I think everybody should be allowed to pick and choose who they want to have certain conversations with. I don't see it as being wrong. So for people to use that against Koshia, I thought it was weird. Because do you have every and any conversation with anyone? No. You choose who you want to have certain conversations with. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it kind of reminds me of that interview that Laurent was supposed to do with Crystal XO. And then he brought in Laurent and he brought in Lamar. And I guess Lamar was supposed to defend him and end up talking about some nonsense about the choked or spanked. Oh, Koshia mentions face down, A up with this person. So obvious. His statement wasn't making any sense. And Koshia addressed it during the reunion when she said, I'm allowed to say what I want to say to who I want to say it with. Like, I'm confused. Like, anyways. So, I agreed with Koshia in that moment, to be honest. Now, Alexis and Laurent go back and forth because they're playing this game of who said what. And it was William that said whatever it is about Laurent being a snake. They didn't even get to William. And in the end, you hear William saying, I said it, by the way. So Alexis pipes up and she's like, yeah, Laurent is the biggest snake in this cast. And I think he definitely was one of these people causing drama in this particular season. I definitely think he is responsible for a lot of the drama. And he maneuvered the show as if it was Survivor, as if you get this big cash amount at the end, as if you're declared the winner of Ready to Love when you make it to the end. When these contestants come on this show and treat it like they're playing Survivor, it automatically turns me completely off. Because are you there for love, or are you there to make it to the end? That is always the dilemma on this show. They definitely need to change the format of this show, because people make it to the end that are playing games, and we're sick of it. So she pipes up. Laurent is calling her, telling her, let's go there. She's calling him a dork. People are trying to get her off. She gets into it with Justin, which really shocked me, because Justin was like, I don't give a F who you are. And I'm like, huh? I never saw this side of Justin before, and I never knew I would have seen this side of Justin. And that just proves that you only get a certain part of somebody on the show. If they want to paint you to be the nice guy, they will. If they want to paint you to be the villain, they will. But that doesn't mean that that's only how these people are. Look here, we got a completely different side of Justin. I did not expect this. I don't give a F who you are. Shut up. I was like, wow, that's how he's talking to a woman. That to me, all these men have some growing up to do, because they don't know how to speak to women respectfully. And I don't even think Alexis was being disrespectful to him, but it's like, I guess every one of them were annoyed that Alexis just wouldn't be quiet. But I feel like Alexis wasn't in her right state of mind. She was drunk. Either drunk or on some type of drug, because she wasn't listening to anything anybody had to say. Either way, she gets into it with Justin, and she gets into it with Mika, talking about she's gonna beat them. Prior to that or after that, when Mika and Koshia are in the hot seat, Alexis basically says both of them have half a brain, basically implying that they're stupid, and she tries to, get at them as well. And I'm like, wow, Alexis is on 10, and it's so disappointing to watch her behave in that manner. I just wish she was in her right state of mind and carried herself like she did during the show. Because I really agree with a lot of points that Alexis was trying to make, but I just cannot agree to the way she went about it, to be honest. And Koshia was like, you see how she's being disrespectful to me, Tommy? You see how she's disrespectful? I do this and I do that. And I'm like, ugh. And the funny thing is, everybody expected Koshia to be the one to act in that manner. So I'm pretty shocked. I'm pretty sure that they take back what they previously thought about Alexis, because they thought she was the level-headed one and that Koshia was the ratchet one, and now they're seeing a completely different thing on this reunion. So at the end, she gets dragged out. Well, not dragged out, but she gets put out, and she's in the back talking about she's going home, and they're seeing the worst of her and F these people, and she says she's leaving and she's not coming back, and Will is trying to tell her, no, let's go back, just calm down. And I don't see her for part 2, so she definitely went home. So that is what happened. Let me know if I'm missing anything. I definitely feel like Mika was, I don't know if to call her the mouthpiece of the women, but I think she was in the mess too. And I feel like, especially with her and Laron, they fall out. So because anyways, she put herself in other people's drama. And pay attention to Chaz, because even in the ending, he still wanted to embarrass Vanessa by claiming that he's apparently engaged and ready to be married, which I do not believe. But he's in the groups talking about how it's real and we might see pictures. Either way it goes, that just sounds crazy to me, and it just seemed like another failed attempt at Chaz trying to humble Vanessa or make her feel bad. But as she said, it's not working. I wish he'd stop. Let me know what you guys think about what you guys saw on the reunion part 1. What do you think Alexis was on? Was it drugs? Was it alcohol? Like, let me know, because she was doing way too much. Do you feel like them adding this confessional booth makes sense? I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Just like, subscribe, leave me a comment in the comment section. I love hearing your opinions. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.